Hello friends, how are you? Long time no see. So today this video is about JoBi and his opponent Putin, Pustalenin. There are plenty of those underlings, like serfs and puppies of Putin around the United States, and they're ill-motivated. So they're talking about Biden's faculty. So today I'm going to be your shrink and say stuff, right? Uh, I don't think JoBi is losing his mind. I mean, I look at the guy and I can clearly see that's someone to really be to not to tangle with. Uh, he right. There are those who have like one thread in their brain, two thread, maybe five, and there are those who's got millions and billions. The brain is always working. So to slip about a name or something, that's not indication of the brain or memory or anything else. No, that's most likely an indication of intelligence. Meaningly, it happens to me when I'm not as smart, right? But there are so many threads in my unconscious or in my subconscious brain that which is not connected to our senses. I put that theory before on one of my videos for that matter. So they're always working, and sometimes like there is a traffic jam, right? Like you got so much going on in your brain. There's a traffic jam. So I myself, even long time ago, I could make such mistakes. Like forget this and change the name, but I would come back and remember later, right? We're a little bit slower in recovering slip. Why? Because there's just so much going on here. Like it or not, I mean, this is what's called the unconscious, right? Biden, I think, is that type. Otherwise, believe me, if he was really having difficulty with dementia or anything else, he wouldn't be in the White House. You can count on that, right? It is very obvious. So there are those who are ill-motivated. Like Putin is desperate to go back into the White House. Let's put it this way, to the degree that they were starting to put stuff for him, like in his food and so on. Biden, the other day I heard that the Secret Service found some cocaine. Apparently, somebody is inserting stuff for Joe Biden in his food and stuff. But ever since that was discovered, those slips almost literally disappeared. I mean, the frequency of the slips were just largely disappeared. So we know what's going on. So that's Biden. If you want to come and say the guy is like memory, you got a problem. You're one of those underlings of Putin and Pustalenin and Lavrov and so on. Hey, they couldn't come here and isolate Biden and kick out his staff, right, here or in Helsinki, like they did that underling called Trump, right, Shrimp Trump. Do you remember that? The other thing is, you can find it on Frontline. When he met with, that's Trump, met with Putin, I think it was in Moscow. And then one of the journalists said that the U.S. intelligence agencies is certain and sure that Putin intervened in the election. He didn't believe them. He believed Putin. He said that clearly. Go ahead and check it out, right? I don't think JoBi is losing his mind. No, it's the other way around. The guy's got just so much, like he's one of those intelligent people. That's all there is to it. Do I like him? No, I don't like him. Some of his politics or approaches, whether it's in the Middle East or anywhere else, I don't know about that. But nonetheless, I am an American citizen. Hey, well, guess what? An Arab American who knows what's good for this country, and what's good for this country is for JoBi to be president, not Putin. Now there are those whites, right? The Halibelt and whites and so on. They're Americans like I am. Now they may say, I wasn't born here. Well, their grandparents, we're basically crossing the Atlantic on boats, just like I crossed the Atlantic on airplanes. So I have the advantage, right? In a boat versus in an airplane. So guess what? Guess what? Anyways, and I have my contributions to this country much better than those who came like a couple of generations ago. I'm gonna tell you something, you whiteys, you blackies too, you whoever you are. You don't know Putin. Putin is no different than Khomeini or Khamenei, Ayatollah. No different than Assad, right? No different than the Chinese regime. Notice when Khomeini came to power, and Assad, this guy, the father, right, came to power, and when Khomeini came to power, well, let's see, Khomeini, the Soviet leadership, including Putin and the Assad and so on, people have been at wars, virtual, perpetual, literal wars. Millions died, poverty is spreading, currency is falling down, and gulags and so on. Oh, you don't believe there are gulags? There are gulags in Russia, there are gulags in Iran, there are gulags in Syria, there are gulags in Iraq, and so on and so forth. And in China too, concentration camps, right? Well, go check it out. If Trump comes into power, he is part of that club, of that group of a cult of personality. They worship one person, right? You know what it's going to be like for you. It's going to be a perpetual war and so on and so on. I mean, that's what it is. Now, you may say he didn't fight wars when he was in office. That's not true, folks. He killed hundreds of thousands of innocent civilians in Mosul. Just like Russia destroyed hospitals in Aleppo, this guy destroyed hospitals in Mosul. You didn't hear about that, did you? No. And so on and so forth. But the first 4 years were in preparation for that totalitarianism. Remember the entry of Khomeini into Iran, like on that French airplane? When he disembarked from that airplane, people were happy and cheering him and shouting and clamoring, and around him, they were happy. The Shah was gone, right? But what happened afterwards? Look at them now. 34 years later, I don't know, 1979 until now, what? 50, 60 years later, I don't know, whatever, right? The first one to go, to be killed and destroyed, were those who shouldered the revolution, period, including the leaders. Oh, they were all gone, hundreds of thousands. And then the war started with Iraq, right? Because he wants to export the revolution. They blame Iraq. Iraq has nothing to do with it. I kid you not. They blame the Arabs for the terror acts in Europe and in the US. I assure you they're not. It is the Hezbollah, it's the Iran, it's and so on and so forth. But what I'm trying to say here is Trump is going to be part of of that group. And first 4 years were in preparation, and it faltered. They were going to nullify the Constitution, overturn the election, and guess what? What else is left, right? Afterwards, it will be ruled by decree, just like Stalin, just like Lenin, just like or the two brothers, just like Ayatollah. Your Constitution, if this guy comes and achieves what he wants to achieve, or carry out his work, right? That's it. Say goodbye to the United States. And you whites were the first one to go, those who supported him. And afterwards, it's it's wars, it's and so on and so forth. Because if and when Putin becomes the president of this country, he's just going to make it like the Soviet Union, no more, no less, right? And he is desperate now to get back. Putin is desperate now to get back into the White House, or his bitch for that matter, right? Because he's desperate in invading the Anglo-Saxon region, right? They spoke that clearly. First, they accused people in there being Nazis. Now that's not the case. Now they say it's Anglo-Saxons, right? They want to take out the Anglo-Saxons. So if you are an Anglo-Saxon, even here in the United States, even in Canada, that Putin, when he comes into the White House, he's going to take care of you too. You can bank your money on that. So that's that. That's that club. So they're accusing JoBi in being like, losing his mind and stuff. That's not the case, folks. I watch him talk, right? At his age, I don't know, He's what, 80, 90? Huh. Many people, you know, like there are many people in this world that are 80 and 90 and healthy and all that stuff. And so is he, right? I watch him talk. I don't see that, really. I really don't see that. He slips and calls Nancy Pelosi Jane Fonda or something like that. I do that sometimes. Heck, I did that many years back. I did that with my children. You know, I would see, I have 6 children. I would see this girl and I would use the name of the other child and so on and so forth. It just happens, man. Why? Well, because your brain is so jammed with ideas. It's so jammed with processing so many things. You could be thinking and talking social life, and then your brain would be processing something scientific. And then, you know, those bulbs, you know, they just keep popping around my head. And I think that's what JoBi is. He's not making mistakes, folks. Give him a break. Give yourselves a break. So that's that about JoBi. Now I heard, like I said, I told you before, his mother popped him out in the Senate because she was like on a tour on the Senate when she really gave birth. But then the guy kept coming back. You know, let's talk about his experience. He would cry until his mother brings him into the Senate when he was a toddler, and he would be fine and humor, right? And then he would want to go to, so his mother Biden would bring him into the Senate, and then he would like feel bitter, right? You know, like that's like home for him. One day, one of the senators, I forgot his name. I'm drawing back, you know, and he came into near Mother Biden and said, cute kid, you know. Like now, what he didn't know is Biden was what you call very smart, right? So he started debating that senator, old senator. That senator said, he wants to debate, and then he gets into a debate with Biden, but an hour later, the senator was sweating, right? And Mother Biden has to come to his rescue. So finally she said, never mind this boy, you know, JoBi is like, I don't know, right? And then, and then the senator leaves, you know, pats toddler JoBi on the shoulder. He says, nice, smart boy, right? You know, we want you to become a senator. And then he leaves, he was sweating. But then JoBi was giving him that grin, right? So what I'm trying to say is the experience and the brain and no, don't, if you wanna pound for pound, there are two different graphs here, graphs in the same illustration, right? One graph goes up, one graph goes down. One is for Putin, and one is for JoBi. I mean Trump, right? Trump. I keep saying Putin. That's who's going to become the president of the country if Trump goes back into the White House. And now Ayatollah has better view of your country, better grasp of your country, and so is China, and so is. So now, pound for pound, Trump has like he needs to deke out. He can overtake Biden by far. Biden, when it comes to wits and brain and experience, oh man, he's gonna squish Trump like a bug, right? Like a bug. You know this guy? Do you remember him when he used to debate? I mean, even his debates with Hillary Clinton and so on, the guy is not normal. In some of his statements, he's narcissistic, right? You know, he's so focused about himself, and guess what? He's a spoiled brat. You know, his the club of that Putin underlings, they just want to make him president. Hey, guess what? And then he, all right, man, I can tell you this: Biden is not losing his mind. Biden is smart, about 10,000 times smarter than Trump. So Trump, I mean Putin, JoBi. I'm going to tell you about my sisters again. So you know how I didn't make my case last time when I talked about Crimea. You know how Melania in Arabic means full, right? Melania supposedly came here on a genius visa, right? And that's not fair, man. That's not fair. Now, I don't know about genius, right? I think it's called Einstein visa. So Melania and, you know, that house, genius, I don't know, man. I don't know. Hell. So I would suggest that my sisters, who's in Syria and here and there, some of them are outside of the country, they go to the embassy and take a genius test. And then you, as a president, make Melania take that genius test. How could you give somebody a genius visa, right? When you don't know if they're genius or not. I mean, you have to have something to show for it. So I would say all of them go to the embassy and take a genius test, right? I bet you money Melania will flunk from the first question, or she will be the last of the group. My sisters would ace that exam. So I'm going to tell them to go to the embassy and say, JoBi sent me, like genius visa, my ass, right? My ass means a donkey. Not the back end. Donkeys are known to be dumb. That's why they called Asad and his father, Syrians called them donkeys. The family has that name, that honor of being donkeys. That's much. So anyways, so JoBi, don't worry, man. You can talk all you want. This to me looks like a sign of desperation. Desperation that these guys will do anything to bring Putin back into the White House. By way of proxy, of course, but no, he will be calling and dictating. Well, not just him. You get the investors as well. I mean, word has it. I do not know for certain, but it was stated that by Nikki Haley, who's at least twice as much as smart as Trump is, right? Maybe more than that, right? But she's not smarter than Biden. He put 8 trillion, not million, not billion, trillion. So that's 8,000 billions in debt on the taxpayer, and he handed it over to the super billionaires. How do you become super billionaire, man? Really, I mean, just think about it. I looked and I saw that so many firms in this world, manufacturers, they manufacture airplanes, nuclear reactors, you name it, right? They don't make that money, right? How do these guys who don't have anything to show for it suddenly get billions and super billions and so on and so forth? You get it, right? Well, you know who it is. Like the two, quite few presidents gave them that, including the two brothers, Obama and Trump. You may think Obama is opposite Trump, and or these two are competitors or antagonists. You have it all wrong. Obama and Trump are brothers of arms, comrades of arms, and they both are brothers of Putin's and Ayatollahs and Bin Laden, and that's them. That's Obama. You like your country, you American citizen, you still, okay, do you still want it to continue as a country, as the United States? Now, it's not doing good, right? Because it was damaged a lot by investors, mainly investors and so on. The investors around that black hole suck market, right? The suck markets, right? They're black holes. They're consuming. If the nation has like a $1 billion of income, say by way of tax or anything else, they're giving the nation $1 and taking the rest of the billion into private interest, and they sit down and talk about growth, about getting billions and so on, and all those firms like Facebook, like Tesla, like Google, like whoever it is, Salesforce, oh, they get billions. That's a B. Why? Right? Like you have a shop here in African American neighborhood, or you have a shop in white America somewhere, or and you're struggling, you're closing your shop. Why don't you get some of that money too, right? Like, guess what? So these guys around the Grading and Frensington Institute of Economics in New York are basically cancered up the nation so much that really the situation is bad. Is it recoverable? Yes, it is recoverable. But if you bring Trump back into the White House, that's it. The whole house is going to be Putin's house. Look at Russia situation. Like I say, perpetual wars and now I am also against abortion unless there's harm to the mother, or it's discovered early on that the gene is defective and it's going to be sick and so on, with reasons, right? Otherwise, I am against abortion. But why do you think Republicans talk about abortion and they're against abortion? Do you know what? Because they want soldiers. They have plans for wars. They have plans for destruction. They have plans of whacking cities and turning cities into rubbles in Syria and Ukraine and Chechnya and here and there and Africa and. Get it? Get it? So Putin has presidency in France now, in England as well, and quite few places, probably Germany as well, but not always. However, they declared that Lavrov stated the fact that those Anglo-Saxons are a problem for them. So if you're any Anglo-Saxon, I assure you, I don't know this for certain, rumors have it of things about Trump that he was really born in Russia, right? He was really born in Russia. And then somebody gave him an ID or something like that. You remember when he kept talking about Obama's birth certificate? He knew like this wasn't going to make any difference. He's just showing opposition, right, to his brother. I would doubt his own birth certificate, right? Something else, I don't know. Maybe he and Putin were relatives, married to two sisters, or or swap ends or something like that. I don't know. I mean, why is this guy so much submissive to Putin? It's just beyond me. There has to be some real compelling reason, or two. One is he's got some secret there. I heard that when he was born in Russia, that Trump, his name was Vladimir Epstein, right? Something's wrong about them, man. Or he's just too weak, and that's probably the likely reason, is that he just flinches, man. The guy is just can't say shit, right? He's too weak, he's too frail, right? He's got the psychology of a coward, right? Not Biden. Biden did quite a few things he doesn't talk about here. They were detrimental to the opponents of the United States, and this guy Biden, in that Taiwan encounter, right, the trip of Nancy Pelosi, and when he warned Putin not to use the tactical nuclear weapons, and that was effective. And there's more, right? These two things, folks, kept the United States afloat without even fighting a war, and then kept the United States as number one. These two positions that he took, period. I mean, we're not talking about anything else. These two positions, the Taiwan trip and the warning for Putin, right? You may underestimate those, or they don't mention them. You have no idea. Trump would have faltered, and then the Chinese premier would have come here and slapped your president on the podium, and Putin would come and sit in your White House for weeks on, and he would issue orders, right? And then go home and probably slap Trump as well. You Americans, you may think this is Democrat and Republicans and all. This is not, folks. This is American versus Putin and Ayatollah and others as well. That's what it is. It's no less, folks. I can emphasize time and again. I assure you, Biden is not losing his mind. I can hear him talk. Well, he's old, he's 80 years old. But what's 80 years old? Useless? 80 years old people are not useless. They're smarter than us young people. And like I say, even with my own children, even while back, years back, I would be confused, I would call this girl by the name of the other girl and so on. It happens, and I would correct myself, of course. Why? Because like I said, there's like traffic jam here, trillion threads running at the same time, analyzing history, analyzing things of the sort. And I do see that in Biden as well. He's got that multi-lane highway right there, but not Trump. Trump is there. When I see one, I know one, right? Trump has a problem, man. He is. Look, I'm not belittling the guy or being profane about it, but it's very obvious the guy has weakness, right? Whether when he deals with foreign leaders, or when he talks, or when he debates, that's why they excluded him from the debates between Haley and DeSantis and what's his name? Christie, right? That's why he was excluded, because they know he cannot perform, right? He got small hands. Have a nice day. JoBi, man, I'm going to tell him to take that genius test, and if they pass it, you better give him a visa. I want all my sisters here in the United States, and their children too. Have a nice day. And you, America, you know what you need to do. Because when you wake up, just like the Iranians after Khomeini landed a year later, ooh, they've been dying ever since. Just like Lenin and Stalin. Go study their history. There are even videotapes on YouTube, the documentaries about the gulags, about what they started doing and so on. Oh, man. How about the Assads? Oh, how about the Chinese? Oh, how about South America, the Pinochet and Castro and so on? Oh, this guy is no different. He's one of them. Have a nice day. This Trump is one of them. Have a nice day. JoBi, you better approve that visa.